This is an outdoor ceremony, so please render appropriate customs and courtesies, and please silence all cell phones. Welcome to the retirement ceremony of Colonel John S. Oliver. On behalf of the 65th Air Base Wing, we would like to extend a warm welcome to all commanders, chiefs, supervisors, family members, friends, and the proud members of Team Logis. Recognizing a member who is retiring from a career of long and honorable service is one of the oldest traditions in the military. A retirement ceremony is a prestigious event and the highest honor we can give a retiring Air Force member. The ceremony is used to say thank you for faithful service, to wish good luck in future endeavors, and bid a heartfelt farewell as a member transitions into Air Force retirement. Through this transition, we must remember that the military retirement is just an extension of an active duty career. A retired Air Force member will continue to be a valuable part of the United States Air Force community. Today, we have the pleasure of recognizing Colonel John S. Oliver as he retires from the Air Force, culminating a military career of 25 years. Officiating today's ceremony will be Colonel Chris Bardry, Commander, 65th Air Base Wing, Logis Field, Azores, Portugal. Please rise for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the posting of the colors, the singing of the national anthem, and the invocation.
Coast! Tench! Who! Right shoulder! Who! Forward! Hooch! Hop! Hoo! Hey, that! Hoo!
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Right shoulder. Ho! Cut! Turn! Hooch!
Pray with me. Lord God, we ask your blessing on this special day when we celebrate the career of Colonel John Oliver. Lord, you have blessed his 25 years of service with success in a variety of roles, from staff to commander. It is clear that his success comes from the quality of his character, and we know that you have formed his character. Thank you for the ways you have blessed him, building him to be the leader that he is, and building his family up around him. Lord, we know Colonel Oliver's life runs deeper than his Air Force career. I trust that this next chapter of his life will be blessed because he is grounded in you. Lord, I pray that you would continue to bless Colonel Oliver and his family, continue to fill his life with fulfilling relationships, with rewarding activities, and with continued opportunities to build into the lives of others. Bless him with health and energy to enjoy the fullness of his days. And bless his family, Rhonda, AJ, Stephen, and Josh. May they continue to be a source of joy and blessing to him. Lord, bless John Oliver and keep him. Lord, make your face shine upon him and be gracious to him. Lord, turn your face toward him and give him peace. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Granger, for the invocation, and Staff Sergeant Russ for that moving rendition of the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, Colonel Oliver's family will share with you his biography.
Okay, the guys and I are here to walk through John's biography. We thought, who better to tell the story than the ones who's actually lived it with him every step of the way. I would be remiss if I did not say that his family, including his immediate family, his brother, and his numerous uncles, cousins, nephews, and nieces, who have all served in the armed forces at one point in time. Those guys have always been a source of encouragement to him, and they've always encourage him to do well and tell him just how proud of him they really are. And we appreciated that along our time together. They've, sorry. He was born and raised in Melbourne, Florida. He's the youngest, and I say the most handsome, of the 4 kids born to Amy and John, Early Oliver. Sorry, fam. He actually started his Air Force career in high school through the junior ROTC program. It was his baseball coach, Major Marty Dawson, who encouraged him to try the Air Force and actually helped him to attain a scholarship. Although he admits his primary motivation was to relieve the financial burden on his parents for his educational costs, he accepted the scholarship to attend the University of Central Florida, where he majored in electrical engineering. It was here that I was first introduced to this skinny ROTC kid who was always interested in my grades or my instructors, because either his grades were better or my instructors were easier. Okay? That is until we had the same class. And then for some reason, that topic of conversation never came up much. I'm just saying. Okay. It doesn't surprise me at all that he would beat down high schoolers at a friendly basketball game. I would expect nothing less. He's always been a true competitor. And throughout all our frustrating conversations together as we got to know each other about my grades, how old my boyfriend looked at the time, and the John Oliver's 10 steps to a better Rhonda Jackson, stuff like that. I actually married the guy a week before his assignment, to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio. We stayed here for about 5 years, where John worked as an engineering data management officer for the Peace Pearl program. There was no trip to China in that one. And then he worked as a flight test manager. There was a trip to California desert for that one. He was very active in the community, coaching the girls' softball teams, Little League baseball, Pee Wee football, teaching Sunday school, and becoming a big brother to a now fellow airman, Jason Hodges. After over 5 years of marriage, we decided it was time to let someone else in on the fun.
All right, so, this is where I come in. So, in 1994, Dad worked in the National Aerospace Program Office. It was to be a single-stage to orbit vehicle for space access. It seemed so easy in the movies. Hollywood couldn't make it work, but back then DoD couldn't. I was born back during his last 4 months there. In January 1995, we packed up and headed for San Angelo, Texas. Not San Antonio, San Angelo. Big difference. Dad went to Intel school where he graduated as distinguished. Mom and I spent our time in the blistering heat, watching cactus grow and dodging tornadoes. Our happiest memories involved the words, moving to Virginia. Later that same year, Dad, Mom, and I headed back east to Langley Air Force Base, where Dad would work Intel programs in the Intelligence Directorate. And 7 months later, I got a lifelong playmate and friend.
Here's the part where I come in. AJ and I became fast friends with each other until what seemed like only girls in our neighborhood. But who's complaining? And Dad changed jobs to become the exec to General Sharp, the Director of Operations in the Directorate of Operations and Intelligence. During this time, Dad attended Squadron Officer School, again distinguished graduate, while Mom, AJ, and I traveled to see family in Alabama and Florida. We picked Dad up on our way back home to finish our assignment there. But that's not all we picked up. AJ and I picked up our last roommate here.
Okay, shortly after I was born in 1998, we moved south to Warner Robins, Georgia. Dad was the branch chief for the U2 ground stations. I learned how to walk, watched my brothers play sports, fail, and everyone stopped calling Dad Captain Oliver and started calling him Major Oliver. But he was still Dad's sometimes coach to AJ. Dad and Mom still played sports, that is until Dad's knees popped and Mom broke a couple toes. I don't know how we survived around the house with all the limping going on. I think that's when they really concentrated on their coaching careers. You know what they say, those that can't coach.
Hey. Okay, thanks, Josh. We moved to Maxwell after that, and that's when John was selected to attend ACSC. I saw it as another year to spend in God's country, South America, Alabama, It is here where we lived through the tragedy of September 11th.
In 2002, we moved to Northern Virginia, just in time for the DC sniper. We would pray for Dad's safety as he commuted to the headquarters USAF, the Directorate for Information Dominance. Dad was a program element monitor for the Joint Tactical Radio System and the Predator remotely piloted aircraft during the Gulf War buildup, and he also served as the exec for the Directorate's director. He won a bunch of awards here as well. He was called Lieutenant Colonel Oliver at this point. Then it was time to move.
This particular PCS brought us here to Lodges, the first time. Dad was assigned as the services commander. I remember thinking that meant we get to see all the movies for free. I also remember Dad riding around the base in Mr. Adams' car. Dad's squadron won a bunch of awards, who he said was because of the leadership of Chief Parker and Mr. Adams, and the hard-working people that made up the squadron. But he also won Field Grade Officer of the Year for USAFE. So we like to think he had a little something to do with it as well. Then it was time to move again.
We went back to D.C., where Dad was enrolled in Industrial College of the Air Force ICAF. I remember his going to England and South Africa. We went to Hershey Park. When Dad got his follow on the assignment to Germany, I thought we hit the lottery. Mom was jumping up and down and crying and kissing Dad, and that was kind of embarrassing too.
Again, thank you, Josh. In Germany, John was selected as the Deputy Director for the J7, the Training and Exercise Directorate for AFRICOM. We traveled a lot, and I mean a lot. By that time, we had finished 20 countries, and I was excited. The boys, not so much. I did mention we traveled a lot, right? I think I heard the boys pleading, Dad, make her stop. But I don't ever recall the boys being so happy to PCS. They were also ready to get back to the States where there's McDonald's and Chick-fil-A.
Then we headed back to the creek. I call it the creek, but it's called Beaver Creek, Ohio. I was home, back to the land of my birth. Dad was assigned to the F-16 FMS program office. He made a few official trips to Morocco and Egypt. I'm not sure when he went exactly, but it must have been in the winter, because shortly after his visit, everyone was talking about the Arab Spring. Dad must have done so well there and really made an impact, because I also know shortly afterwards we received orders for lodges.
Before he left, Dad took Josh and me on my college trip. After this trip, I knew I would attend Auburn University. AJ graduated from high school, and Dad moved here 3 days later. Josh, Mom, and I stayed behind at the house for a year. The following year, he flew in for my high school graduation, and Josh returned to Lodges with him. The rest is history.
These last 2 years, I think our family closed ranks. We formed our barricade around us, and we became a stronger and closer family unit. We look forward to going home and being together full-time this summer. I know John looks forward to transitioning the boys back to school in the fall. He leaves the Air Force with wonderful memories of places and, more importantly, memories of the people he's worked with and the people he's met. Our family has been on an incredible adventure. We've had incredible opportunities and seen a lot of the world. We're most thankful to you, the Lodges community, for taking care of our dad and my husband in our absence. We end this journey with no regrets and on our terms, just the way we know John would want it. Bon dia and obrigado.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Chris Bardry.
Hello, Lodges. You guys are looking good today. Hey, best bio I think I've ever heard right there. That's fantastic. Fantastic. So well done. You guys made my job really easy. So I'm going to go just a little deeper and pick out a couple points that I want to highlight about John's career. What a fantastic day we're having here. It couldn't be any better for this retirement, and what an amazing, lovely setting. I'm so honored and privileged to be here today to retire John and to get to see his family make this transition and be the one who kind of helps springboard that. Rhonda, AJ, Stephen, Josh, fantastic job, and we're so glad to have you all here with us today. Commanders, leaders, Lodges family, welcome, and thank you for being here. I'm going to do my best to add just a little more flavor to the distinguished career of Colonel John Oliver. And the real reason we're here today is to celebrate his family. Celebrate his family in this transition, retire him, and send them forward into this next season. This distinguished career, as you've just heard, it has a lot of different elements. It's everything from Air Force engineering, aeronautical systems program management, acquisitions and test activities, intel program management, services and support, squadron, command, combatant command, AFRICOM staff officer, working and leading as an Air Force commander twice, working in foreign military sales. John's fingerprints are all over the Air Force. He has a broad and deep career, and his fingerprints are all on a lot of the warfighter systems that we use today and that we've relied upon to win our nation's wars and the conflicts that we've been embroiled in for most of the time that John and I have been in the service. At Wright Pat, as you heard, as a lieutenant, he worked highly important programs. Everything from working the F-111 digital flight control systems, basically working with the YA-7F Pearl, Peace Pearl, which I had to do a little research and find out that was an attack model aircraft. I think the F-16 eventually won out. But in working those navigational systems for those airplanes, he learned as a lieutenant how to make our existing programs better and leading into developing new programs. He learned how to meet the objectives. He learned how to finish under budget and on time. And he proved that as a lieutenant he could handle those programs. And so we promoted him to captain, and we moved him across the campus. And as you heard, he worked with the National Aerospace Plane Joint Program Office, which is really impressive. As AJ said, I think it's a single stage space vehicle or something like that. You know, it's a pretty cool thing. Definitely a cool thing. John's, one of the big things he did was to improve the national hypersonic test infrastructure. I almost had to look up hypersonic, but luckily I know exactly what it is. Hypersonic means really, really fast. And so he was working in that. He learned skills and a reputation for being able to more than the technical side, to lead a diverse group. Because while he was there, he had to work with contractors, he worked with civilians, he worked with DoD active duty military, he worked with NASA, he worked with members of the university departments and things of that nature in that job. I think that's where he cut his teeth and he proved what he was really, really good at, and that's team building. That's taking that diverse group and forming them into a winning team, which would prove important in the jobs that came after. As you heard, he went to the Intel school. He was a top grad at the Intel school down there in San Angelo, Texas. And the reason we trained him up in intelligence is because the Air Force sent him to Air Combat Command to put together their Intel Ops programs, merging of intelligence and operations to be able to focus air platforms, intelligence gathering, and being able to take all of that, distill it, and turn it into something useful to other platforms. I try to make what is indeed a complicated endeavor, and you're dealing with billions and billions of dollars, and you can't miss an I, or you can't not dot an I or cross a T when you're doing that job. And to be able to lead those programs, John was key in that. And He helped develop the Air Combat Command intel policies and those programs to be able to focus that where the money meets the platforms, meets the mission, meets the end result, which is us winning our wars and winning our conflicts. That's a big deal. And then they made him the exec because he was so good, pulled him up to the top, made him exec, and when he became exec, he had to help merge those two programs, Intel and Ops. And we've had those joined at the hip, and we've made a winning effort of that ever since. As mentioned here, you know, the kids were kind of born along the way. He carried the kids out there to San Angelo, and you know, a little bit about Rhonda, for example. John's a smart guy, and we all heard that. Everybody's bragging about how smart he is, and Rhonda's pretty smart too. The only question we have is, you know, her taste in good looks. I heard something a minute ago about how good-looking John is. I'll take your word for it, because you're smarter than me, so I got to go with it. It's his day, so I'm going with it. But Rhonda is also an engineer. John's an engineer. Rhonda's a computer engineer. And she's had a great career. Rhonda's worked in acquisition and logistics just like John has. She started working there at Wright Pat, not right alongside him, but they bumped up against the same kind of programs, and they worked alongside each other in a way for America. She was active in the community. Actually, she and John were the big couple of the year. You know the Big Brother program, Big Sister program? They were the big couple of the year in Dayton, Ohio. Those guys were active in community and making a difference in people's lives. Rhonda also served as a stay-at-home mom for part of her military career. She was a stay-at-home mom, homeschooled the boys for part of that time, then kind of pushed them back into school here and there when necessary. But she's had her hands and her fingerprints all over these three gentlemen right here who we're proud to call part of our family and team and are excelling in everything they do. AJ's attending Cedarville University. He's studying chemistry. He's going to be a pharmacist. Steven is going to Auburn. He's studying computer engineering. He's making amazing grades. Josh is here. He's here at Lodges. He's part of our school, and we're glad to have him as part of our team here. And he's still in high school, but he's looking forward to his future. And those guys are probably your greatest creation. And I know John's going to say that, but we're so proud to have known you. Also, while he was there, John carried the water on all those programs to build that Ops Intel piece. Like I said, merging those two directorates was no easy job, and that's what prepared him to go to Warner Robins. You heard him say he was working with the U2 downlink systems and the collecting systems. It's the distributed common ground system, which exists still today, and from its original beginnings has grown broader and broader and broader. Basically, working the hardware and the software machines. These are weapon systems, actually. The weapon systems that collect this data that comes from multiple platforms that we use, collects it, processes it, and prepares us to be able to use it. And as a major, John carried the water on the palm. That's the program objective memorandum. That's like a $13 million program as a major to get that instilled into the budget so that it continues and those legacy systems still exist today. That's fingerprints all over some stuff that's made a huge difference. He went up to the Pentagon after ACSC and he started doing more of the same, but even at a bigger level. We have joint tactical radio systems today that are common across all services, $7 billion projects, 8,000 types of radios out there, all common across the services, in part because of the work that John did. And I don't think we have to talk about the Predator systems and his management of those systems up there and what we do with Predator and what we have done with that and others like it in Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. We all know the value of those systems. As the exec up there, John had his hands in the command and control, the computers, everything C4I. A whole command structure, and he was able to actually shape that piece for our United States. But then came his biggest challenge of all, which you heard about, which was being a services commander here at Lodges. I mean, how do you come out of that high thinking, high thought, huge money world and come to Lodges and make a difference? Well, like the guys told you, he did make a difference. As a matter of fact, Lodges has been a high-achieving wing forever, thanks in part to the way we work together as a Lodges team. With our local nationals and all pitching in and everyone making us a winning team. But John came in as a services commander, and all these guys did was they looked at lodging, decreased overhead, up profits, won awards. Went to the DFAC, remodeled DFAC, made it better, won awards. Went over to the library, 5-star rating on the library, won awards. Increased everything that has to do with the torque, won both best co-located club in the United States, Air Forces in Europe, won awards. All of that, then they had an ORI, and everybody got an excellent. It was the first ORI lodges that actually had of that type, got an excellent. That's pretty dang good. Now, he deserved that Field Grade Officer of the Year in youth safety status, no doubt. You know, at ICAF, the Industrial College of the Armed Forces, John received a lot of accolades, a lot of academic accolades. Like we said, he's a smart guy. But and he took a couple trips. As the guy said, he went over to Africa. He went some more places. But his crowning achievement, as I went through his records, is actually this one. And this is the one that really prepared him to go on to the next level. And that was that for the ICAF team at the service-wide sporting events, John Oliver was the starting pitcher and team most valuable player of the softball team. Not only that, they played in the Little World Series Championship softball team. Is it not working?
Yes, it's really buggy out.
Can you guys hear me? Okay. Well, he was a starting pitcher for the softball team. They played in the Little World Series. How about now? That's good. And they went out to the take number 2 at the Jim Thorpe contest, which is that big series of sporting events amongst the services. And his report went on and on about what a great pitcher he was. And then right after that, it said, there is no doubt he is now ready to assume a challenging post in the dynamic national security environment. So that prepared John. At AFRICOM headquarters, and John was there, Colonel Haney was there. When we stood up AFRICOM, that was like building a whole new machine. And building that machine and looking at that massive continent that is Africa, you have to understand it. And we really never have, and we're still trying to. But what we did know was we needed to do better there. And John went up there, and he was a division chief. He worked on the Readiness Exercises Training Division, which is that's the place where we start to work side by side with the different countries there in Africa. And while he was there, John worked on mill-to-mill engagement and brought key leaders together from the African countries to the U.S. countries and other NATO allies, helped bring those leaders together because those key engagements is where it all really starts. And then the building partnership capacity, which is literally our troops working side by side with theirs. And arranging that, making that all happen has made huge strides for us in Africa. Not only that, but Then the activities on the continent that we're doing today, if you look at the strides made before and you look at where we're doing and what we're doing in Africa today, out of necessity and out of good planning, we give a lot of credit to guys like John who were there doing that. And finally, back to Wright Pat, where he took over Chief of Military Sales in the F-16 program, pointing those fighters, moving all around the world. I guess it was the fighter that beat out the AF-7, AY-7, FY-7F, AF Pearl, Peace Pearl. But he took over that program, which is the largest of its kind. It is the largest military sales program of its kind. In doing that, he increased that partnership again. Partnership and interoperability all across the globe. But a couple I'd like to highlight to you, a couple of milestones of that complex work was working within Pakistan and Turkey, working to make sure that we are allies and we are interoperable with them. We can go and fight tonight with the same types of war machines and the same types of tactics quite often because of these kinds of endeavors. And first F-16 presence on the African continent as well, not a small achievement. Back here at Lodges, he's been our group commander. He's been our mission support group commander for 2 years, and we've been so blessed to have you, John. We're lucky enough to get you back. We're going to send you off, but while you were here, you made a difference. A couple of things I'll point out. We've thrived under John's leadership in the MSG. You know, I mentioned yesterday, and as did Larry here, that I think our squadron commanders and our flight commanders have moved out and won more awards and really let the airmen shine under John's leadership here. That's his hallmark right there, is that teamwork and letting those others shine. We did our mission, and we did it really well, John, while you're here for 2 years. The airfield grew. Our communication systems grew in capability. The tank farm, the strategic fuels grew in capability and grew in capacity. All have grown more capable under your watchful eye. We prepared the wing and we prepared the community for any eventual drawdown. If indeed it does come our way, we're prepared. And you help make a lot of that possible if we have to do that. For disasters, I really appreciated working with John as he commanded and led our emergency ops center. Just a calm, stabilizing force in there. Again, pulling the team together and getting the best out of all the people in there. And then for our unit effectiveness inspection, we were highly effective. No other wing in USAFE has made that rating, and in part, no small part, John, due to your leadership. He was also our liaison to the school, our liaison to the public, our liaison to the community. He's our face. He's our voice. He's our personality. He's the hand that reached out most often and was there. And he's the one that in most times, those people reached to. So he was our connection. And that was huge, huge for us. Leader in the church, mentor to airmen. He did that while he led the group. Did it well. John, thank you. Well done. Well done. Thank you. You did a great job here. I'm so proud to see you as you move forward and become part of that veteran community. I don't know if we're the greatest generation, but we're a pretty darn good generation. And guys like you are going to walk out there and you're going to prove it all over again. God bless you. Thank you. You ready? Let's move.
Thank you, Colonel Bardry. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the presentation of the Air Force Legion of Merit to Colonel Oliver. Attention to orders. This is to certify that the Legion of Merit has been awarded to Colonel John S. Oliver. Colonel John S. Oliver distinguished himself by exceptionally meritorious conduct and the performance of outstanding service to the United States as Commander, 65th Mission Support Group, 65th Air Base Wing, Lajes Field, Azores, Portugal, from 6 June 2012 to 30 June 2014. During this period, Colonel Oliver's exemplary leadership, diligence, and devotion to duty proved instrumental in the delivery of essential combat capability to 4 geographic and 3 functional combatant commands. He ensured unimpeded movement for 423 United States and foreign coronet missions by providing fuel, lodging, transportation, fire protection, security, communications, and airfield systems as these aircraft transitioned to and from Operations New Dawn, Enduring Freedom, and Unified Protector. Colonel Oliver oversaw maintenance of 829 facilities valued at almost $2.3 million across 19 geographically separated locations. He directed the installation of a new digital airfield surveillance radar and 19 airfield paving and lighting projects supporting 14.4 million square feet of runway, apron, taxiway, and ramp space. Colonel Oliver led the group to unprecedented heights, garnering numerous Air Force and Major Command level awards. Included in the distinguished list are the 2012 and 2013 Major General Eugene L. Eubank Award and the 2013 Outstanding Small Postal Facility Award for the United States Air Force. Additionally, his teams captured Headquarters United States Air Forces in Europe's 2012 and 2013 Best Library Program, the 2013 Integrated Communications Award, and the 2013 Outstanding Small Contracting Unit Award, and the 2013 Active Duty Small Security Forces Unit Award. Lastly, Colonel Oliver's leadership was crucial to the wing receiving a highly effective rating on the 2013 Unit Effectiveness Inspection, the first given within the United States Air Force in Europe. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Colonel Oliver culminate a distinguished career in the service of his country and reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. The retirement ceremony now begins with the reading of the retirement orders. Attention to orders. By order of the Secretary of the Air Force, Special Order Number Alpha Lima 000709, dated 27 August 2013, Colonel John S. Oliver, Commander, 65th Mission Support Group, Lajesfield, Azores, Portugal, United States Air Forces in Europe, is retired from active duty, effective 1 July 2014, per Air Force Instruction 363203, in the grade of Colonel after more than 25 years of faithful and honorable duty. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Colonel Oliver, next we are pleased to present you with a certificate of appreciation, which reads, Colonel John S. Oliver, I extend to you my personal thanks and sincere appreciation of a grateful nation for your contribution of honorable service to our country. You have helped maintain the security of the nation during a critical time in its history with a devotion to duty and a spirit of sacrifice in keeping with the proud traditions of military service. Your commitment and dedication have been an inspiration for those who will follow in your footsteps, and for all Americans who join me today in saluting you for a job exceptionally well done. My best wishes to you for happiness and success in the future. Signed, Barack Obama, Commander-in-Chief. Colonel Oliver, at this time, we would like to present you with a certificate of retirement, which reads, Certificate of Retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States of America. To all who shall see these presents, greetings. This is to certify that Colonel John S. Oliver, having served faithfully and honorably, was retired from the United States Air Force on the first day of July 2014. Signed, General Mark A. Welsh III, Chief of Staff, United States Air Force, and Colonel Chris Bardry, Commander, 65th Air Base Wing. Colonel Oliver has requested that his spouse do the honors of pinning on his retirement pin. Mrs. Oliver, will you please come forward? It is also customary and fitting that we present Mrs. Oliver with an Air Force certificate of appreciation for the support she has provided to her husband throughout his career. Mrs. Rhonda Oliver, your commitment to the Air Force, your family, and your husband's profession during his career has been a model for others to emulate. For this, we are forever grateful, with our deep appreciation, admiration, and respect. We present you with this certificate of appreciation as a remembrance of your years as a member of the Air Force family. Lieutenant Colonel Caranta and Mrs. Oliver will now present Colonel Oliver with a retirement flag and shadow box. This flag was flown here at Lodges Field, Azores, Portugal, over Colonel Oliver's final command. The shadow box is a gift from all of his commanders and was completed with the assistance of Mrs. Oliver.
There are many things in this box. There's symbols of your career, but in the end, when you look at this box, please look out and remember the folks that had the pleasure of working with you. Thank you, sir.
Colonel Oliver, before turning the floor over to you, your family would like to make a few remarks.
Stretch. All right. All right. This is it. When I heard last year that I was coming to Lodges, I was thinking back to places, remembering, making sure that I know where to go, where to walk back to school, houses. But turns out I didn't live in a house, it's an apartment. And I was kind of upset about that because I wanted a house. I wanted more than one bathroom, but we didn't have that. But Dad and I made it work, so it was really something to help about, and I just want to thank him because with his mentorship, his love, and sometimes lecturing, it really helped me in this being here for this year, and really made me feel better about myself, about my family, friends, and about Lord Jesus Christ. And I just want to thank you, and I just want to congratulate you for just making it for more than 25 years, and basically I love you. So thank you.
I was thinking about memorizing this, but I've been in school for 9 months and I've been memorizing for that whole time, so I'm just gonna read it. But that I have to say that I'm honored to be up here today, to talk about the man that I love and who has made the greatest impact on my life. I go to a Christian college, so I'm gonna pull up some scriptures. I'm a schooler. So in Proverbs 22:6, it says, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he gets old, he would not depart from it." Immediately after I was born, you had taken that verse to heart and had placed that into my mind. Dad, you probably did not know this, but I know how hard it was for you to not only serve your country, but also help shape Stephen, Josh, and me into future young men. You also probably did not know how much of your wisdom I have used during challenging situations. Whenever I am in such situations, I would also think to myself, how would Dad handle this? Once I got the idea on how you would handle the situation, I enacted upon it, and I think that I was literally unstoppable. and I really have you to thank for that. I know that your military training has something to do with it, but it takes a wise man to take action for what he learns. At Cedarville and throughout my entire life, not only in Cedarville, but I have friends who just want to know where do I make all the wise choices? How do I make the wise choices? The first thing I say is God, of course, and the other answer is for my dad. He's the wisest man that I know that's on earth right now. And whenever I talk to them, I never hesitate to brag about you and tell them about all the fun that we have and all the things that we've done throughout our entire life and throughout your 25 plus years in the Air Force. You have and will continue to be an inspiration to many people, but it'll never be as strong an inspiration as you have given me. You may have finished your career in the Air Force, but your career as a leader and a role model will never end. You have finally ended your career, so please, please, do not do anything that you do not love doing. Because I know you do things that you don't like doing, but you try to do it because you like, that we like doing it too, like baseball, or like whatever. Please just take the time to enjoy yourself. You have earned it. Thanks for all you have done, Dad, for me, and I hope I do not disappoint. I owe you that much. I'm proud of you, and I love you.
Similar to AJ, I would also like to quote some scripture for my speech. In John 5:19, Jesus told a multitude of people that the Son can do nothing of his own accord, but only what he sees the Father doing. For whatever the Father does, the Son does likewise. This verse is completely applicable to the relationship between me and my dad. My dad has provided a model of how a strong, dedicated, hard-working Christian family man should live his life. Hearing all the compliments about my dad, not only from his coworkers like last night, but also from my own friends and peers, I truly believe it takes a special person like my dad to touch as many lives as he has throughout his career. Probably the thing I love the most about my dad is that he never stops teaching me, especially over the past couple of years, whether it was just talking to you during our college visits a couple of years ago, or you calling me early in the morning before I got to go to school. You've been teaching me valuable lessons about working hard, continuing to persevere even during tough situations, and pursuing a life based on Christian principles. Like the Bible verse I quoted states, I look at my dad's career and hope I can only emulate the impact he has had on the lives of his family, friends, and co-workers. So I'll close by saying, I love you, congratulations on a long, illustrious career, and I'm excited to see what the next chapter in your life has in store for all of us. Thank you.
Okay, I will get through this. Well, here we are. We're coming full circle in your career. We started out with, the Broncos losing the Super Bowl and the Redskins 42-10, the Super Bowl 22. And we're ending it with, the Broncos losing the Super Bowl to the Seahawks 43-8 in Super Bowl 48. I wanted to take this time to tell you, John, especially how much I appreciate, admire, and respect you. Your daily example to me and to these young men behind me is one of grace, forgiveness, and above all else, love. You truly demonstrate the love of our Heavenly Father to his children, to us. And I cannot begin to tell you how grateful that I am that you came to UCF and that you looked beyond all my faults and saw my needs. I needed you in my life, even though I didn't know it at that time. I consider myself the luckiest girl in the world to know that I'm loved by someone who's my confidant, my encourager, my spiritual advisor, and my best friend. I wanted to let you know what you do for me does not go unnoticed. It is reassuring to know that you have someone who knows all your secrets and keep them safe. But to me, more importantly, who will continue to love them in spite of them. So, God places a desire in a woman to be loved, and to feel secure. And I have never lacked for either. I wanted to tell you that, and that after all the good times and the bad times, we're still here 25 years later. And throughout the years, you've asked me to trust you, trust your love for me, and trust the love that you have for these guys. You've asked me to move away from my family. You've asked me to walk away from my job. And you've asked me to keep the boys home to school. Those were big, scary steps for me. And it's felt as if sometimes I was walking on a tightrope. I was afraid to fail, afraid to fall, but I knew in the heart of all my hearts that I had a safety net, and that was you. You would never let me fall. You have walked beside me through all of this, through this entire journey. You've never disappointed me, except for that Mother's Day gift yesterday. but we have truly come full circle. And now you've asked me to trust in you again as we enter this new phase in our life. But this time, as you say in your oath, I do so willingly and without any mental reservation, because you have proved to me over and over again that you will always be there. I was broken when you found me, and I can't begin to tell you how your love has made me whole. You've always made me feel like I'm the prize in this relationship when all along it's been you. And I want you to know that I know no matter what comes our way, that your love for me will always stay.
We used to walk home after school and never broke one rule. Not a kind word left unspoken. Crossed our hearts in hope to die, and now I wonder why our promises were broken. We felt our love was true. Yes, we felt our love was true. Yet time revealed the truth. Though it felt like love was just an imitation. Though it felt like love was just infatuation. You ask how I know. Well, 'cause love never goes, stays through the hard times, stays, yes, for all times. It's love I found will always stay. Say you learn as you live, and all the facts time will give will teach us all a lesson. What a lesson. And if the future holds the proof, why waste your time and you on a love you know won't last forever? Hey, see, it hurts to start again,
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Colonel John S. Oliver, United States Air Force, retired.
This hasn't quite gone how I expected it would go. My goodness, Rhonda and boys, I love you guys so much. You guys turned this thing out. I'm really impressed. Let me go protocol-wise. Colonel Bardry, Colonel Callender, Colonel Haney, commanders, chiefs, team lodges, distinguished visitors, Colonel Retired and Mrs. Nielsen, Pastor Mrs. Odom, Chief Hicks, Luciano and Angelica. Is Ernesto out there somewhere? Ernesto was going to come and see me. I'll see him later. Thank you guys for coming. And also, I'll add to it, thank God for FSS. We're live streaming this, so I know there are some family members out watching this as well, and I'll say a few other family members' names a little bit later, but welcome also, folks. And most importantly, though, Rhonda, Aaron, Stephen, and Josh, thank you all for being here today. This day has finally come, and I will tell you 100% I am glad. I am glad in it. But before I go any further, let me get some other thanks out, okay? Some unsung heroes. Sergeant Russ for singing the national anthem, Chaplain Granger, the escorts, my proffer, Major Wyatt, the torque staff, Teresa, protocol, Mike Peters, and if you guys would all give, and then let me say Captain Nash as well, and then if you guys would all give Becca Murphy a round of applause for me. I probably won't get through this speech without crying, but I would tell you guys, and few people know it, Becca has stayed longer. They're supposed to PCS out, so she stayed longer to coordinate and run this thing for me. And Beck, I've told you a few times, but I'm just so very proud to know you, how much labor you've done behind the scenes. And Becca doesn't know me really as well as a lot of folks do, but she's just a sweetheart. Thank you so much for all you've done. Colonel Bardry, thank you for the very kind and passionate words. Thanks for officiating today's ceremony. Thanks for your strong leadership for our wing. The wing knows that you're a strong leader, Colonel Bardry, and I just want to tell you thank you for that. I've learned an incredible amount about leadership, about different leadership styles. You've talked actually quite a bit lately about how the glove sort of fits together and scriptural reference about the different parts of the body. I've learned those things from you. I've learned about determination and conviction. I've told you a few times that I don't think the folks across the wing realize how much you love the culture of this wing, and that your coming in point and leaving point was you didn't want to mess it up. And as I've told you, you've only improved upon it. So thank you so very much for officiating today. I'll attempt to keep my comments as brief as possible. I know some of you guys are warming up. I'm warming up a little bit, and so I'll try to keep them pretty brief. But since I'm literally down to my last, this is like my next to my last official speaking engagement in uniform. I'm gonna do Chief Morrell's retirement in about a month. I'm excited about that. But I think I need to just share some thoughts as I get off the stage, and also seeing that I will start interviewing for jobs soon. I know Mr. Greer's been helping me out. I figured I need to try out some of my interview lines on you guys as well. So, would you like some fries with that cheeseburger? Or this is one of my boys around it like, welcome to Walmart. We're running a special on diapers today. we call it a cliche, but there's a lot of truth to the statement that time flies when you're having fun. And my mother-in-law the other day, when I mentioned that to her, she sort of checked me a little bit. She said, yeah, you can say that now, but 2 years ago when you were flying over here without the family and all broken up, coming over here by yourself, I bet you weren't saying time flies when you're having fun. And you know what? She's a little bit right about that. But my 25 years in the Air Force have, without a doubt, been the most amazing and fun years of my life, and they really have been. We often attempt to encourage our young airmen by telling them that they're extremely fortunate and extremely blessed to get the opportunities that a service in the Air Force allows them. Admittedly, most of us don't appreciate a good thing until it's gone. Over the past few months, as I was reflecting and getting excited about this retirement, I started reflecting on the good things that have been afforded me just by wearing this uniform and serving our great nation. I think some of them are shared very well and much better than I can ever share them by Colonel Bardry, Ron, and the boys. So I won't recount them line by line. But I will tell you that these amazing opportunities have included things like the ability to work with and lead people, U.S. civilians, U.S. military from all branches, foreign military from places like Portugal, the United Kingdom, South Africa, Morocco, Egypt, and China, just to name a few. What a great opportunity I've had. This career has afforded me the opportunity to manage resources. Colonel Barger hit on some of those. At the base level, like here at Lodges, and at the strategic level, like the Pentagon and at AFRICOM. The dollar values really are staggering when I reflect back on it, easily in the billions of dollars that I've been blessed and allowed to have a fingerprint on shaping and molding where they go. And the resources include anything from paper and pens just in our office to unmanned aircraft, communications programs, and aircraft like the F-16. It really almost seems unbelievable when you think about it, but it is true. We're given an impressive amount of responsibility wearing a uniform. And then finally, these 25 years in the Air Force allowed me the opportunity to take care of the mission. And as I was writing some of these notes, I was reflecting back on when I started as a young lieutenant way back when. A lot of the schools we attend early on, they talk about leadership styles and leadership techniques, and are you a mission-focused or a people-focused? And I was a closet people-focused. I'll tell you guys in that style, a lot of the old guys will tell you, the right answer is supposed to be your mission-focused. That's really the right answer for success that they tell us. At least that's the way I interpret it. But I was always a people-focused person. And I'll tell you, knowing that people get the mission done, knowing that it's all about people. My assignments here at Lodges have been, without a doubt, and I've told you guys before, just the most amazing and the blessed that I've had, because I got to bring those two worlds together of the people and the mission. And as I was scribbling some notes before I came in, I started thinking, and as I stand on this stage before you guys, and I look out in front of you guys, I see that there are no F-16s parked out. There are no tactical radio system programs parked out. There are no Predator UAVs parked out saying, thank you, Colonel Oliver, for what you've done for us. It's all about people. So that was really a picture for me to put that into words. I'm down to my last couple pages. But I'm going to say it this way. Let me conclude my comments the same way I began them, with a few more thank yous. These thanks go out to three groups. I think only my family have heard about these three groups. A few years ago, I labeled them my 3 Ps. Thanks first to my professional group. That includes each of you. When I came on the stage, I will tell you guys, when FSS said to me yesterday they're going to live stream this and we're going to connect the world to this event, in the back of my mind, I go, oh, man, that means folks are going to do like they've done for some other events. They're going to sit at their desk and watch this, and we'll fill up a few seats out here. I am honestly just humble, and I was almost in tears at the very beginning when I saw you guys out here. And like last night, I think we were querying a few of you guys when y'all came in, and there's probably only about half dozen to 20 of you guys who were told you had to be here. Everybody else is probably here because they want to be here. That's a joke. But that professional group includes each of you. It includes bosses, co-workers, and subordinates. People like Connie Wright, Bill Bridges, Leilani Muth, Johnny Owens, Jerry Jankowiak, Mr. Bobby Smart, Mike Hi-Ho Silver, Chief Master Sergeant Parker, Ron Stevens. To be on this list, you had to not be stationed here right now, so Chief Morrell and Charlene Pertee, they were in that list as well. Being a part of this professional group meant a lot. And I can honestly tell you the high caliber of this group is what really encouraged me to want to stay on as long as I've stayed on. The second P is my personal group, and it's a pretty small group. And I talk to some folks sometimes, and I say, there's only a few people that say something to me that matters. This personal group is that group that if they say something about me, I actually stop and listen. And at the beginning of that personal group is my mom, who I love dearly. Hopefully she's plugged in on this one, but the quick story is when I was growing up, I was truly an ugly duckling. I'm glad none of those really ugly duckling pictures got shown today. But, little known fact is my mom always told me that I was great, and she even told me I was handsome. When others around me, and I know they love me very much, so I won't call out any of my cousins who may be watching now, but others around me who had names for me, I actually listened to what my mom said, and I was able to filter out all that stuff, and so I thank my mom so very much. She's definitely in that personal group. What I was gonna start saying with this personal group is these boys and my wife. I brag quietly to some of you guys about them, and I honestly, man, you guys make me look great because as much as I bragged about you guys, what y'all have done today to stand up here and say what y'all have said and to look the way you've looked, and for Josh, you to articulate as well as you did, all those types of things, it just really makes me be very proud. My three sons, my fellas, my Aaron, AJ, Joseph, Jacob Jones, my Steven, Stevie D, and my Josh Gibson. I had nicknames for them as they were growing up, so I'll pull those out of the closet just for this session. Hey guys, I can never express how much I love you. What y'all have said today, I mean, I'm floored really that y'all share those sentiments, and I really appreciate that. My desire all along, I think as y'all know, has been just to be a model to you guys. It literally has been to say, I want to be like my dad. And when you guys say that up here in front of all these folks, it just really touches my heart. That literally has been one of my major deals in life. Quick story for you guys. When it came time to leave, to make a decision to come here to Lodges a couple years ago, got the assignment. We had just been a right path for about 6 months, less than that really. And it was like, hey, we got to make a call on coming to Lodges. And got the family together and said, okay, hey guys, we're gonna make this decision as a group if we're gonna come to Lodges or not. That meant that I would come here by myself and leave Ron and the boys back at home. And I'll confess to you guys, and I think Rhonda knows this very well, I sort of had a decision already made up that I had to come. We didn't make the decision as a group. I cried like a baby coming over here. I talked to Steven on the phone sometimes, and I couldn't even talk to you because I felt so bad. The cool thing about it is to see you guys and to see that these 2 years haven't damaged you guys. I felt guilty a lot, and to hear what y'all said. Real men aren't supposed to cry, no. All right, finally, my personal group is my lovely wife for 25 years, Rhonda, who I call my Babs. What can I say that I've not said over these past 2 years? Thanks for the sacrifice. Thanks for the love. It's interesting being a colonel here at Lodges because you guys treat us like we're something. That's in my script. I think that's nice, but to be totally honest with you, and I mean this, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, it has rarely made me feel special, or shall I say, any more special about myself than I already do. But what makes me feel special is to have the love of a woman like Rhonda. I really mean it when I say an amazingly large portion of my confidence rests solely in the fact that I know that you love me. And that song, I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man, we were debating that the other day. Y'all may have to play that later, but I laugh a little bit, and I know how guys think, and I'm not bragging. I'm trying to be humble, but when people see Rhonda and they're like, "You're with him," or "He's with you," they're like, "Man, there's something special about that guy," and I know that. I'm humble, but baby, thank you so much. Your words up here were amazing. I really appreciate it. You know how much I love you. I went today to get some flowers, and the lady at the flower shop said, "This is tied to the Mother's Day gift Ron is talking about." She said, "Hey, did she love the cows?" And so as I was scurrying to get Rhonda a Mother's Day gift from me and Josh, I bought her, mothers, listen to this, ladies, listen to this. I bought Rhonda some Azorian cow salt shakers, salt and pepper shaker. And this is the Oliver family. As she's opening the gift, the one she got from Stephen and AJ, she's loving it. And she's opening one she got from Josh and me, and she's like, "What is this?" And we were like, "You don't like it?" I love you guys very much. And let me give these tokens of my love and appreciation. These are the ones Billy gave me last night. Here you go. Love you, brother. I'm proud of you. They may open these later. Y'all can open them now. These blue things here, don't want to know what they are. I want to know what these are, right? Thanks, brother. Love you, man. You're going to like it. Put that in college. Put that in college. Okay, so that's 2 P's. The third P is what I call my perfect group. First P was professional, second P was personal, and the third P is my perfect group. And he is simply my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I learned many years ago that I am imperfect. I'm really not good at all. But I also learned that Jesus' life, death, burial, and resurrection is what makes me acceptable to God. I mentioned a few minutes ago that my mom, Ron, and the boys are a major portion of my self-confidence. Well, the other portion is my perfect group, and that's Jesus. Over the 25 years of my career, it became quite apparent that my service in the Air Force was really just a tool or avenue to serve him. Sometimes I lost sight of that fact without a doubt. But assignments like my time here in Lodges, assignments like my time at the Pentagon, these are assignments that tested my patience. At the Pentagon, in Germany at AFRICOM, and then quite frankly these last 2 years here at Lodges are great reminders that I'm truly here on the earth just for him. Guys, I am truly blessed. Man, there's quotes famous people said, but I'm truly blessed that you guys are all here today. Truly blessed to have served with you folks. I'm leaving with no regrets, as you guys can tell. I hope you guys can tell that. And I really value and cherish your friendship and your love. Thank you guys very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the formal portion of the ceremony. At the request of Colonel Oliver, a flag folding ceremony will now be performed. Please remain standing. For more than 200 years, the American flag has been the symbol of our nation's unity, as well as a source of pride and inspiration for millions of Americans. Born on June 14, 1777, the Second Continental Congress determined that the flag of the United States be 13 stripes alternating between 7 red and 6 white, and that the Union be 13 stars, white in a blue field representing a new constellation. Between 1777 and 1960, the shape and design of the flag evolved into the flag presented before you today. The 13 horizontal stripes represent the original 13 colonies, while the stars represent the 50 states of the Union. The colors of the flag are symbolic as well. Red symbolizes hardiness and valor. White symbolizes purity and innocence. And the blue represents vigilance, perseverance, and justice. Traditionally, a symbol of liberty, the American flag has carried the message of freedom and inspired Americans both at home and abroad. In 1814, Francis Scott Key was so moved at seeing the stars and stripes waving after the British shelling of Baltimore's Fort McHenry that he wrote the words of the Star-Spangled Banner. In 1892, the flag inspired Francis Bellamy to write the Pledge of Allegiance, our most famous flag salute and patriotic oath. In July 1969, the American flag was flown in space when Neil Armstrong planted it on the surface of the moon. Today, our flag flies on constellations of Air Force satellites that circle our globe and are the thin flash of aircraft in harm's way in every corner of the world. Indeed, it flies in the heart of every airman who serves our great nation. The sun never sets on our United States Air Force, nor the flag we so proudly cherish. Since 1776, no generation of Americans has been spared the responsibility of defending freedom. Today's airmen remain committed to preserving the freedom that others won for us for generations to come. By displaying the flag and giving it a distinctive fold, we show respect to the flag and express our gratitude to those individuals who fought and continue to fight for freedom at home and abroad. Since the dawn of the 20th century, airmen have proudly flown the flag in every major conflict on lands and skies around the world. It is their responsibility, our responsibility, to continue to protect and preserve the rights, privileges, and freedoms that we as Americans enjoy today. The United States flag represents who we are. It stands for the freedom we all share and the pride and patriotism we feel for our country. We cherish its legacy as a beacon of hope to one and all. Long may it wave. Ladies and gentlemen, in appreciation for his contributions to the Air Force and its mission, the men and women of the United States Air Force are proud to have served with Colonel Oliver and assure him that he will always be a valuable member of our Air Force. Even in retirement, we cherish him, Mrs. Oliver, and their family, and we hope every success in their future. Please remain standing for the departure of the official party and the playing of the Air Force song. Thank you for attending today's ceremony. Everyone is invited to join inside for refreshments, to catch up on what you may have missed in the video, and to wish Colonel Oliver and his family congratulations. May God bless you. May God bless the United States Air Force, and have an outstanding afternoon. Oh.